Tonight's show. This year marks 30 years since the Cop's last stand. Find out how Red All Over the Land plans to celebrate. Liverpool are top of the league. Is this the season we go all the way? And Darwin Núñez is the first Premier League player to reach 10 goals and 10 assists this season. Bournemouth fans, do you still think he's a shit Andy Carroll? Welcome to episode 25 of Red All Over YouTube, the online version of Red All Over the Land, which is the longest lasting and only surviving Liverpool fanzine. The creator and editor of Red All Over the Land for 28 years is John Pearman. Good evening, John.
Good evening. It's nice to be back.
Must be pleased with how things are going on the pitch, John.
You can't be anything else, can you? I mean, I watched the game yesterday. Watched Sunday's game again yesterday, and you have to. It's hard to sympathise with millionaire footballers, but sometimes they're reduced to the same level as we were when we played on a park. When you've got a gale blowing like that, and you don't know where the ball's going to blow next, they have to cope with a lot of things. And we took a bit of a shelling in the first 5 minutes. I think Bournemouth had 4 corners.
Yeah.
And we had to defend because they knew what they were going to do. They were throwing it at us and all that. But we came out, we battled that out. And, I can't really remember a serious save that Ali had to make. And credit there to the defence again. What a performance from Conor Bradley. Is he the next? Is he the next one? The next star? Early days, but I remember waxing lyrical after I'd seen Trent play in a League Cup game against Tottenham all those years ago now, and I thought he's going to be good. And Stephen Gerrard had mentioned him in his book. Well, he was good, wasn't he? He still is, and hopefully he'll be back in a couple of weeks. So we've finally got cover for Trent.
Just in time too. Yeah. All right. Well, tonight we're live on YouTube. We're also on X again. And for the first time, we're live on Facebook. So wherever you're watching, welcome to Red All Over YouTube. Let's meet our special guest for this episode. It's Jay from Scouse Republic. How are you, Jay?
I'm good, thanks. Barring the wind, all good.
You were telling us before we went live that you've had bits of your roof have come off in the wind.
Yeah. 4 tiles and nearly the chimney. Thankfully, an old roofer, so it's all sorted, and my dog didn't die in the wind, so happy days.
Okay. So, well, tell us about Scouse Republic then. You say you're a former roofer?
No, I know roofers. I'm an electrician.
Oh, you know roofers, right?
Yeah, I'm an electrician. Set up Scouse Republic 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Just off a whim. Got together with a friend. He had a flag, Scouse Power. We had a picture of it blowing in the wind on the Anfield Road, one of the coach welcomes, surrounded by all the red smoke, and we thought that makes a cracking t-shirt. So we got our heads together. Neither of us had done anything like that before. We had a little look into it. We made a few. All our mates wanted them. And then we decided to make a website and that. Unfortunately, we didn't see eye to eye as a business partnership. So we went our separate ways, and I continued under Scouse Republic.
Right. Well, the thing that, John, is this, you mentioned to me when we had a chat this afternoon, is this the emblem that you were talking about, John?
Yeah.
So is this, Jay, was this the original emblem then? Is this the one that was on the original T-shirt, or is this something that came a bit later?
This is the later one. This is my own one. So I've made that more neutral for the city. In case I ever delve down the way of going down T-shirt routes of other teams, but it's yet to happen because I can't bring myself to do it. So I couldn't think of nothing worse, to be honest. So I kept it quite neutral just in case. But the original picture was a Scouse Power flag. It's the Liver Bird with its claw on the ball. Brilliant flag my mates had made.
No, I actually remember that banner. I remember the banner.
It's been on the Cup. I think it's been to European Cup finals. It's been all over. To say he's still a good mate, and that we just didn't see eye to eye as business partners. you know, there's a lot of work that gets involved, and we weren't able to split it the way we wanted it. So it just we're still mates in that, still see each other at the match and stuff. But business point of view, it had to just be one way.
So how do you go about? Sorry, John.
I was going to say, I actually think in the present climate, not the wind, but the present climate in general, you know, Liverpool, the city, has become more a republic than it's ever been. I've only known it to be a republic, but now it's almost official. You know, we can almost declare UDI from the rest of the country, and I just think that emblem is fantastic. It just typifies. I think it typifies the mood of the let's say the fans on the Cop, and the majority of the Scouse lads that I know. You know. It just fits in perfectly, and that's why I like it.
Well, I was brought up like learning attaching the man's decline of the city and stuff, and you know, when we go to away games and they sing about poverty and tragedies and that, we don't want nothing to do with anyone else. And anyone who comes to Liverpool and respects the way we live and the way we see politics and the way we see football, you're one of us. Doesn't matter where you're from, you're a Scouser to us, as long as you see the things we do, and as long as you're willing to come to the city and support the city as well as the football team, then you're part of the Scouse Republic, as far as I'm concerned. And I think that's why the shirts do go all around the world. I think everyone wants to be a Scouser, because there's no better.
It's funny you say that, because I'll go back, not sadly, because it's something I cherish, is the memories. When I used to go around, I'd only just started going abroad in the 60s. But if you said something, you got a connection with Liverpool, you were in. Just because of the Beatles and then it was still the rather infant Cop. You know, the Cop was just gaining popularity all over the place. But if you said you come from Liverpool, and I used to say I did, although I didn't, it sort of, all of a sudden, you got friends. People wanted to talk to you. And I can remember being in Brussels. I think it was Blankenberg in Belgium in '64. The Beatles were all over the place. Everywhere you went, it was Beatles, Beatles, Beatles. And the fact that you were English was a help. When you said you got Liverpool connections, they thought you were one of them. Yeah.
Mad what football and music can do. Like, there's no better thing than going to somewhere like New York and telling them you're from Liverpool. They can't wait to talk about the Beatles or the football club. It's just like a pride you can't buy. And as I say, I don't think you'd have to be from Liverpool to live that. As long as you come here and you connect with us, you're part of it. So it's great that we're so welcoming as well.
I was actually in San Diego, I think it was about 1992, 93. And I was talking to some lady in a bar, and I said, about Liverpool, and she said, "Oh yeah, the Beatles." I said, "Do you know about the football team?" She said, "Oh yeah, Liverpool." I said, "Yeah, there's another team, Everton." She said, and typical. She asked, "Are they minor league?" I've lived.
Not yet. Soon.
That one. Are they minor league? And yeah, you know, they're still going to win another trophy, but yeah, are they minor league? So she didn't actually follow football. She just knew where Liverpool was and Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah, it's a city that you know, as you know, John, my parents emigrated to New Zealand when I was 18, and we were out there, and you know, I can remember we met a Scouse bloke it was a RSA club, which is like the equivalent of the British Legion Club, and my mother was, you know, talking, and she says, "We're going to take over the world." And this fella said, "Oh, you disappoint me. I thought we already had." Yeah. But, you know, there's a poll out, there's a survey out today. I forget who's done it. I think it's TripAdvisor, one of those. Liverpool is the 7th best city in the world. New York came number 1. London, I think, is in the top 5. But there's no other British city on that list. But still, away fans will give all the sign on and all the other thing. Well, where's their city on that list? You know what I mean? Where is it?
I can't quite understand how London's got in there, but anyway.
Well, yeah, I know. It is.
That's me being a bit biased.
I was going to say, I hate the place.
Well, so
In fact, who was top?
London was, New York was top. Yeah, London was, I think,
okay.
top 5. Liverpool was number 7, but it was the highest British city outside London was Liverpool.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll accept that.
So Liverpool, Manchester was on the list, but below Liverpool. Everyone was below Liverpool. Yeah.
We'll get in the top 4 of that as well.
Yeah. I think we're close to European qualification. I think Barcelona was on the list. Anyway, so when you go about then making something, like a T-shirt or a hat or something, where do you start then? What's it all about? How's it work, Jay?
It's literally you can get images and merge them together, or you can start from scratch. I just emailed a few local firms asking if they could have the capacity to print for us, do a few trials, see how good the quality was. And that was always the thing. It was, we wanted quality over quantity. We didn't want to order 100 items for cheap and then fall apart on people. Yeah. So we were not making a lot of profit. And we found a printing place off Breck Road, which is round the corner from ours.
Perfect.
Which is in the community. It's a family business. Their business is printing, and so they supply the garments, and I send them all my designs, and they print them all for me, and I pick them up as I please. So it's worked out well. But it's just ideas. Something just clicks in your head. A moment will happen in a football match, or like when the owners call us customers, stuff like that. You just think, what can I put here? What can I put together? And it's always enjoyable doing cup finals and that. But it's a off the cuff stuff out the blue that tends to go better. But yeah, it is. It's all just ideas. I think the hard part of the business is that there's loads of us doing it, and we're all fighting for the same cause. We all have the same passion. We all believe in the same thing. So we all have similar ideas, and sometimes it gets a bit heated. You're like, you've copied that off me, or he's copied that off him, and it gets a bit mad. But you grow out of that. The first year I was like a paranoid schizophrenic. Anyone who had a lager bird on the top, I was like, that's mine now. But I got over it. But yeah, I think what's great about the whole department now is all the small businesses, the really small ones like myself, and there's a fella called Paul from Properties, likes of people like him. We all help each other. We all make sure we all get a little go with the fan base and that. So if we spread it around, and as long as everyone's doing all right, we're all happy.
And you sell it on scouserepublic.com, which is a great website. Do you sell them on match days as well?
I haven't done, because it was a hobby. It was like an enjoyment thing, and I could do it online. I could order them. The thought of going and having to man a stall and try and make money instead of going and getting pissed with my mates on a match day was a bit too much, but it has got the capacity to grow now. So I'm in talks with someone to have a stall on a match day on Anfield Road. It's probably going to be in the new season, but yeah, it's looking very positive.
And what are currently your best-selling items?
It varies, really varies. I think I've got about 30 designs, and I could send one order over to the printer 1 week, and it'll have 1 or 2 of each. It's mad. Every single one of them sells. That's one of my favourites. That one.
What have we got there?
In my Liverpool home, it's got the
yeah.
It's even got Ken Dodd on.
But, why not? Why not?
It's
Ken Dodd was a fan, so
just a proper Scouser. But even on his deathbed, still put 2 fingers up to the tack. So fair play to him.
What was that when he got married and she became Lady Dodd and
fantastic.
Yeah. Fantastic. And tell us then how you became a Liverpool fan. What's your story as a fan?
Just born, literally. The Evertonians say we're manufactured, don't they? But my ma and dad were absolutely fanatical Liverpool fans. My dad used to go to games on backs of wagons and that when he was younger. Part of the 60s and 70s hooliganism. he used to go for a fight and to watch the footy and enjoyed it. But my ma wasn't allowed in the Cop. She used to go and sit outside the Cop as a little girl, and she idolised Bill Shankly and used to go down to St George's Hall and stuff. And I was just brought up with all the tales from a young age.
St George's Hall in '71 when they came back without the Cup. My dad took me to that. One. Yeah. It was incredible, and we hadn't won anything.
I didn't realise for years that we hadn't. It wasn't a parade. It was we will win it. So again, to have that's where like we compare them to Jurgen Klopp, because they've got that same mannerism, haven't they? Where they've just got something special about them and all of that you just relate to and instantly love. But yeah, me ma was like as big a red as me dad. So when we won the league, me ma come down to Anfield with me. Obviously, during COVID, he wasn't allowed.
Oh, right.
Me ma wasn't well at the time. She struggled with her breathing and stuff. When we got down there, she was like holding flares, drinking champagne out the bottle. And thankfully, I had that memory with her because she passed away the year later. But it's memories like that you can't buy. So, you know, I do feel for me blue mates because they haven't got any.
Yeah, they've had nothing to cheer about, have they, for so long? And what was your first game? Do you remember that?
It was FC Kasici. Played FC Kasici. I remember them playing in orange and black. I think we won 5-0.
I was there. I actually went to the first leg of that game, the one in Kasici.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like watching a game in a field. There was very, very few fans there, apart from Liverpool fans, because Kasici was a very small town in Slovakia, and it was quite interesting because we had to fly to Prague, and then we had an 8-hour wait in Prague before we could fly to Kasici. I've got no idea what we were doing in Prague for 8 hours. But I do know. And I know when we got on this plane to go to Kasici, it was only up in the air for about, 15, 20 minutes. But it was one of those planes that you see hovering in the sky and wobbling around. You know, it was frightening. But so and then they, like you said, they came to the first game. So the second leg at our place, yeah.
So how old were you then, Jay?
I can't remember, to be honest. You might know the year, John.
Sorry,
what was the year, John?
I'm going to say it was about. Might have been about 97, 98.
So would it be 7 or 8?
Yeah, 97 and 98. I know Michael Owen was playing because he actually signed a shirt for me for my nephew. So yeah, so it'd be about around that time. But yeah, it was. They were really from the back of beyond. You know, it really was a little town.
And so, what's your most memorable game, Jay?
My most memorable. Chelsea semi-final, 05 probably, 04, 05, is the atmosphere. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that shot at the end by Good Johnson. Never, ever. It's still, even when I watch it on the telly, I still stop breathing while it's going on. Because it knocks me sick. And I went every game that season at home. And then my sister bought 2 tickets in the Milan end for Istanbul, and my ma wouldn't let me go. So I never let her live that down, ever. But she just said it was too unsafe. But I always feel like I've been to a few European Cup finals and I'm yet to see it. So I think I'd have probably cost us Istanbul if I'd went to that as well.
That Chelsea game, it's memorable for so many reasons. But that thing where you mentioned there about that shot, I remember when it went out for a goal kick, the Kop erupted, and then the ball, Dudek put the ball up the other end of the field, and it went out for a throw-in, and then the crowd knew it was all over
I've got shivers now, because I can see the
yeah,
video.
and the ground stood up. I was in the upper Anfield Road end, and I took I call him my father-in-law. He's no longer here, but he was in the Liverpool. He was in the hospitality area, and I took somebody else with us, one of the family, who's a Nottingham Forest fan, and he just couldn't believe it, what it was all like. And leaving the ground 15 minutes or so later, and everyone was still singing in the streets. It was unreal, unbelievable.
I can remember the exact, I remember getting home from school, having me dinner and that, and then I was running late, so I had to go and get the bus from the Strand in Norris Green to get up to Anfield, and the first bus never come, so I was panicking, and then I flagged at Acne, and I got there with about 15, because I didn't want to miss You'll Never Walk Alone, the one thing I didn't want to miss before it, and it was the best thing I've ever heard. It's mad because I've got so many memories. Like I went to Kiev, and then I gave me ticket away for Madrid because I promised my mum and dad I'd watch it with them. Didn't know it'd be the year later, but we ended up watching that in the Sandon. But again, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and that when that Origi goal goes in against Tottenham in Madrid, like me ma's bouncing off the ceilings, we're all going mental, there's ale everywhere, and they're just memories.
Did you say you were in the Sandon?
Yeah, we went to Sandon.
Yeah, I was. I couldn't get in because I got there. So the garage. I sat there looking through the gate. You could see the screen through the fencing, the gating. And what I can remember was when Origi scored, I'd got a black bag with me because I was staying overnight in Chester, and I got a black bag. At that time, I lived in Leicestershire, and I leapt up and I ran out down Oakfield Road, and I'd left my bag. I couldn't back because nobody had moved it, nobody would. And first thing that was happening, a van had pulled up. It's reference to what you do now. This guy opened the back of the van, and he'd got Liverpool European Champions T-shirts. He must have had a. Yeah, but and it was fantastic to see because everybody was suddenly, I'll have one. They're all handing over £10, £20, whatever they were charging for them. And it was like, I can't believe it. They're still, because of the added time of about 4 minutes, there's still like 5 minutes to go. But he was there doing this, flogging them straight out. It was unreal. But I think the things what people like yourself are doing, I think it just shows the way our fans now are thinking. So it's got to be different. You can't have the Reds on it, can you? It's got to be something different. It's got to have that creative logo or saying. There's got to be something else there. It's got to have almost like some words, almost poetry.
Yeah, it's got to be different from others, but it's got to be something that everybody knows, and that's why it's so hard because there's so many sayings that have been used or we want to use. But it's a hard thing. But a lot of people just pop up for like cup finals and then they disappear and they take a few quid. Whereas mine was never about money; it was about seeing people in the stuff. That's the enjoyment for me. Is when I'll be at the match with my dad and I'll see one of my tops on my logo and I'll just be like, wow. That's mine. I've done that, and that's where it's brilliant.
I know how you feel there because I can remember some years ago the camera flashed on the cop and somebody was there sitting there reading "Red All Over the Land," and I thought that's mine. And so you get
one of the most famous things you can hear around Anfield from me as a kid was "Red All Over the Land," Liverpool Fanzne. I think it's on. I've got the cop choir there somewhere. I'm sure it's on before that.
Yeah.
You can hear someone shouting it.
Yeah, probably John.
Yeah, This Is Anfield it is. They do You'll Never Walk Alone from the fans. It's a recording of like going through the turnstiles and you can hear that first.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a memory for everyone. That when I was
Well,
going to
people are reading it all over the world. Mark Dean is watching us right now. He says, "Evening, gents. Watching from a jacuzzi in Tenerife. I feel like a millionaire footballer." All right. Well, if
oh,
anyone else is somewhere windswept and interesting, there's messages there on the thing. I know there is on the YouTube version. We're still new to X and Facebook, but if you can messages through there, and we'll read out some good ones for you. What are your thoughts on this season then, Jay?
Millionaire footballers still go to Tenerife.
Yeah, it's a bit down market for them, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not quite Las Vegas or Dubai or whatever they go these days. What are your thoughts on this season then, Jay?
exceeded expectations already. Like
Yeah.
where we are now from what we thought we were going to be at. I always had faith in Klopp, but there was that little couple of months where he wasn't making changes that we agreed with, and it seemed like we were on a different wavelength from him for a small time. That was my biggest panic with him, is once he stopped seeing things the same as the fans, that's when you lose your head. And he had a little month or two like that, but he was always deserved the grace, weren't he, of giving me an extra year or two just in case he'll turn it around. This year, with the team he's built, I don't know how he's doing what he's doing. I honestly don't. I don't know what we're performing in second and third gear. We're yet to peak, and we're still steamrolling teams. The Bournemouth the other day, expected to be a banana skin, rolled them. It just there's that belief back in the team that they are better than everyone. And I think if Liverpool have just got to turn up and they win games, it's on us. It's all our destinies in our own hands now. We're the best team in the league when we turn up. We've just got to turn up every week.
Yeah. I saw an interesting stat. I haven't checked it out to stand it up, so it mightn't even make sense. But I read it was on what used to be Twitter. If Manchester City lose one match and we win the next 11 games in the Premiership, we'll be crowned champions at Old Trafford on the 6th of April. That's what it says.
Okay.
I have to you're not so confident, John.
Well, no, I don't know what it is, but I always edge my bets. I said in the fanzine back in August, a good season would be to finish in the top four and to win a trophy. And the trophy I'd love to win is the UEFA Cup in Dublin, because it would be like playing. As my mother used to call Liverpool, she said it was Dublin's overflow. So it would be like going back home. And Richie Sunak could have nightmares about small boats in the river, wouldn't he? In the sea, as we all go over that way. It'd be fantastic to see, and just something else. It's just no other team could go to Dublin and be welcomed, I'm sure, like Liverpool, because they are basically Liverpudlians. That's where we've got so much of our stuff from, heritage from, and it'd be just fantastic. But I watched that game against Bournemouth, and in the second half, I just thought, Bournemouth can't get a hold of the ball, and Bournemouth had a lot of players out. Not forgetting that, but they couldn't get a hold of the ball, and it's remarkable. And there's some fantastic football played, but I just go back now. If I want a night, I'll remember this season. It's that second 45 minutes against Newcastle, when I thought Mo Salah was on something else. I've never seen 45 minutes football from one player like he was that
he
night.
Desperately wanted it, didn't he? It's like they didn't. It's like Newcastle. Some Geordie had insulted his mother or something on the way before they went to the game or something. He was fired. He was that fired up. You could see it even on the TV.
I just I've not seen anything like it. But this is a different team to the one that Jurgen had 3-4 years back when we were winning the league and the European Championship. I said to you earlier, Graham, using the elements that we've got at the moment. Back then, we'd blow teams out of the water in the first 45 minutes. You get to half time and the game was basically won. Now, we have to wait till the second half and then we blow them away. I mean, 4 goals against Newcastle in the second half, 4 goals at Bournemouth in the second half. That's good going.
When we hadn't even had a very good first half as well. You know, it wasn't like we'd been unlucky. We'd been lucky to be 0-0 at half time, both those games.
But you know, against Newcastle, we could have scored 10. You know, it was only the goalkeeper, fortune, and missed chances, but we could have scored 10. You know, and it's just fantastic to watch. But you know, I just think, like Jay, this could be a good season. I'm keeping my feet on the ground at the moment.
Is it too early to say the word quadruple?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's not.
You think it's on, Jay? Jay, you think it's on?
It's on. It's possible. It's a possibility. You know, we live to dream. There's no point in going to footy matches if you don't believe in it. But I do believe we're capable of doing it. Unfortunately, it's not the quadruple we would have wanted, but it's a quadruple. We're in every competition. We're still in second or third gear. We're yet to peak, and God help them when we do, because we're already flying. It's bizarre. But Man City are going to come good. They're going to get to a point where they go on like a 10-game winning streak, because that's what they do. But we're yet to play our best football. They've had spells where they've looked at Man City of old. We're yet to do that. And again, I said to my mate on our podcast on the Liverpool Groove, if it didn't quite work out this season, and we sort of went, right, we finished second and we've won a cup or two, we haven't slipped up. We haven't cost ourselves the league, because we're in no right to be where we are at the minute. We're exceeding expectation. We've got to just enjoy the roller coaster, because there'll be many more dips, there'll be many more ups, and I think it'll be the same for all of us. Arsenal, City, Tottenham, Chelsea. I think we'll all be in the same boat where we have massive drops in form. But luckily for us, so far, when we do drop, we still find the points. So that's a sign of champions for me.
Yeah, I mean, if our bad run was drawing with Manchester United at home and drawing with Arsenal at home, I'll take that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but But I watched the under-18s in the Youth Cup, FA Youth Cup on Saturday night, albeit via LFC TV, and for 15 minutes I thought they're going to get hammered here. You know, because Arsenal were these big strapping lads, and our team were a little bit lightweight, and one or two of them were. I think the goalkeeper was from the under-16s, had only just come into the team, and then all of a sudden, they scored. Then Arsenal equalised, and then we got another goal, and then all of a sudden it was like something clicked, something was switched on somewhere, and you got. Trent Cohn Doherty from Derry. He's running all over the place. You got Jaden Dans, whose dad used to play for Tranmere, wasn't it? I mean, he's looking threatening. And this Lewis Kumas, I think his dad was playing professional football not many years back. And all of a sudden, it's 7-1. You know, and I'm thinking, yeah, but you got to look at this and you're thinking, Arsenal have actually played bloody well, but they were just blown out the water. You know, it just off the pitch, and it was just incredible. And I just thought, well, I've been a fan of Trent Cohn Doherty since I first saw him. And I just think there's something there, but they've got to keep him down, keep him on an even keel. He's training with the first team. And that's all he needs to do at the moment. And they've got this young lad who they got from Leicester in the summer, Naomi, I think that's how you pronounce it. 16 years old. He looks ready, you know, and he's been on the bench in the first team, but they're only going on the bench to well, it gets them in the ground, you know, a bit like the old days, you know, sneak them in. And they're just on the bench and in the dugout and watching the games. And I think, how lucky are we to have these kids and this management? That's not just Jurgen. That's the whole setup. And we've spoken, Graham, to two of the academy recruit team, and they say they scour the country for these young lads. Well, yeah, they're delivering the goods, because these players are going to be something else. And well, providing they maintain the improvement through the years, obviously. But you've got Conor Bradley now. Owen Beck came back on into the team on Sunday for 5 minutes. That's good. That's telling that young lad, you're here now. You want to stay here. It's entirely up to you. Not up to Jurgen Klopp, not up to the management team or the coaches. It's up to the individual to think, I want more of this. And Bobby Clark, who they brought on, the Newcastle lad, again, comes from a football family. So it's really, really looking good. They don't always win when they're playing in their own competitions, but the way they played in that Youth Cup game, and I think that was one of the strongest sides they'd put out. So it was fantastic.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look ahead then to tomorrow night. If you're watching this live, it's the 23rd of January. Tomorrow night, we play Fulham. We're 2-1 up. Confident. It's away from home, though.
It's a hard game. It is a hard game. I think they've come to Anfield twice and we've struggled. Although I thought we absolutely battered them in the 4-3 game. They just had 3 attacks and put them away. That was the game for me where I said to my dad after it, that was like the Aston Villa when we won the league. That was the comeback where you go, right, we are in this for the long haul. We're in a fight here. They're a good side. It depends how strong they go, but they're going to want to win. We've got to go strong ourselves and go for it. We've got to
Especially in case there was a Fulham fan watching this and you said you hate London earlier. You know.
I despise London. Shit off. No offence.
I just be giving them the incentive to beat us, though, Jeff. Sorry, John.
I actually exclude Fulham when I'm talking about Londoners because their fans are normally they're not a bad bunch. Compared to the one up, what was it, about 2 mile up the road from them at Chelsea, they're okay. I can take Fulham fans.
Yeah. How do you think we'll go, John?
Never heard them sing or speak, to be fair, Fulham. They're a quiet crowd. Hopefully we keep them quiet again tomorrow.
Okay. I think tomorrow, obviously, Jurgen will stick to his policy of playing some of the younger lads like Callaghan goal and Harvey Elliott will probably play again. But he's now got the option where he can play a strong side. You know, if you want to call it the shadow squad, whatever they want to say now, it's no longer a weak-looking team. I mean, it can put a strong side out because it's Norwich in the Cup on Sunday, so they've got 4 or 5 days after tomorrow night. There's rest time, and I just think that I mean we only need to draw, and I'll take a draw.
Yeah,
I think we'll get through. And that's rare for me. That's me saying so. I think we'll get through.
All right, you meant. Sorry, Jay.
Have to go drastically wrong for us not to get through. I think even if we don't feel the strongest side, we'd have enough firepower on the bench to overturn the tie if it weren't going our way. But so we've just got to see how we go. I'm not saying anything.
All right. Let's look forward then to Norwich on Sunday, which you mentioned earlier, John. Jay, do you want to start? What do you think about this one?
I think we'll put the strongest team out against Fulham, and then we'll rest a few. I think he'll put a few more kids out against Norwich. Again, it's a game we want to win though. It's a football team. We need to be putting a team out strong enough to get the win. But I think whoever we put out, we should really be beating teams like Norwich.
It'll be their final though. They'll have everything to play for. They'll desperately want to get something from it. It seems that way with most
teams we play. Even when we play like the lesser teams in the league, like Everton, they put all the men behind the ball, and it's their cup final, and everyone wants to beat Liverpool, and that's just what happens when you're a big team. You've got to find a way through it. You know, I think they can be quite dangerous on the attack, Norwich as well. So you've got to have like a decent core, I think. But I think you'll see a lot of the fringe players playing. But I think we'll beat them.
You know, it can play. It could play in defence now. It can play Kwanzaa. It can play the young Conor Bradley. Trent's not far away from coming back. Robbo's in the squad for tomorrow night, and he'll probably only be on the bench. But we've got players now around, and I can never pronounce his name, but Sloboslai.
Szoboszlai, I think yeah.
Szoboszlai. He's looking for match time, needs match time. As I say, we've got Harvey, we've got Curtis, and might not play because of he got a knock. But we no longer we've got like for like. In the past, we didn't have like for like. You'll never have like for like with Mo Salah or Trent. But we've got like for like. You know, we can, if a player's missing, we've got somebody can bring in and say, well, yeah, you can do that job, can't you? And take it from there. So that I mean, even against Norwich, I think we can put out a very decent looking team. It won't be the under-18s like it was against Everton that time. You know, so
all right. Well,
I think if you go for the core, have a strong core. You might see Kelleher play again. Even Quancha's got the ability now where you think he could play alongside a younger kid and teach him because he's just got it. He's got the he's got that aura about him that you think, yeah, go ahead, lad, you could probably stand alongside a 16-year-old and show him what to do. Conor Bradley's the same at right back. When he played against Fulham and we seen him, the conversation at half time was, even though we had never played well the first half, you know, Trent can go into midfield now because we've got a right back. And that was what people were saying in the concourse at half time. Like, this kid's naturally good. He's good at going forward. He's good at getting back. So we've got enough young talent there where it's not like throwing in a kid on his debut. There's enough there that are pretty much senior players instantly, but they're young, so they get called kids. But yeah, I think we've got enough.
Well, I call everybody a kid, you know, even if they're 40. You know.
Well, I'm hoping to be at that one. Hoping to get a ticket for it, and I just thought I'd mention something about ticketing because I've got a message today, about half an hour before we went live. I got a message from Liverpool Football Club about ticketing. Just to bring you up to speed, I also went and checked. I'm on the season ticket waiting list. I've been on it since 2008, so I've been on the list for 16 years. And I checked out my position on the season ticket waiting list, and I am 13,391. I found an old 2018 article in the Echo, and it said, I mean, obviously there were an extra 1,000 season tickets because of the new Anfield Road end this season, but usually it's only between 100 and 200 new season tickets are issued. So even if it's 200 season tickets issued per season from now on, I've only got to wait another 67 years until my season ticket is available. I'm just hoping I do live till 127, which is how old I'll be at that time. So I don't even know the season ticket waiting list when it's like that. It's a joke, isn't it? It's just there's just no hope there at all, is there?
No.
Anyway,
I've been on mine since like 1998, I think, 2000 at the latest, and I think I'm still like 8,000 on it. I think there was a mix-up. They tried to charge people a £5 when they electronically changed the list, didn't they? Charged everyone a £5 to remain on it, and then they charged people a £5 again. And apparently it was first come, first serve on that time. So all the people who've been waiting longer are behind me.
Oh, well, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I went in the ballot for only the second time since they've had the silly ballot system where they sell half the season tickets all in one go. I went on the ballot and I asked for one game. I asked for the Sheffield United game on April the 3rd. And I thought, with it being Sheffield United that late in the season, I mean, who knows? So I got a message, and I'd see if you can make any sense of this. It says, thank you for registering your interest in purchasing tickets for the Premier League home games due to be played during the second half of the season 23-24. As you'll be aware, the expanded upper tier of the Anfield Road stand has partially opened for the first time at the Manchester United home game last month. Work has continued since then between a busy festive footballing period and a number of domestic cup home games in January, with solid progress towards reaching capacity. Everyone involved in the project is working hard to confirm which fixtures we can fully open the stand for, but there is still some work to be done before we can commit to that. So they're talking like the only tickets available are at that end. But anyway, It says, we will therefore continue selling at the current slightly reduced capacity at the Anfield Road stand until we have full confirmation. If you've been successful for a game, as shown below, then you are guaranteed a ticket for that game in the forthcoming sale later this week. When we're at full capacity in the Anfield Road stand, we will sell in waiting list order to eligible supporters. So does this mean if I'd got a ticket, they'd be telling me and it would be somewhere in the ground, but if not, I'm in a draw. Well, I'll go on. It says, when we're at full capacity at the Anfield Road stand, we will sell in waiting list order to eligible supporters. Your waiting list number indicates where you were positioned ahead of those sales. Details of these future sales will be released in the coming weeks. So it sounds like the ground is sold out apart from the Anfield Road end, and I'm on a waiting list for one of them, and my number on that waiting list is 10,600. Why didn't they just say, you missed out? Why did they have to give you this little bit of hope?
You've won a ballot to go into a ballot.
It looks that way.
You're just a couple of people ahead of you from the Mount Everest supporters branch. You know, they'll be guaranteed a ticket. They will.
Yeah.
No, not
so,
Sheffield United. They'll wait for a bigger game, maybe the last one of the season.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how the ballot thing works, but I'd love to know how many people are in the ballot and exactly how it does work for every game, because it seems like an odd system. It seems a bit like they having to ring the doctors at 8 o'clock on that day to get the appointment thing and wait. And it seems like another stupid system. What was wrong with the one where they just sold the tickets for the next couple of games and they went on sale on a date and you knew the date and it's a long time ago now, but they'll never expand the ground big enough for my season ticket waiting list numbers to come down. So there's no chance on that. So hopefully I'll be there on Sunday, because you and I, John, we're going to do a little bit of filming, aren't we? Some promo because we're coming up with Red All Over the Land, the longest lasting and only surviving Liverpool fanzine. We're coming up to quite the milestone, John.
Yes, issue 300, which I've started working on. And it's good. Hopefully, it's going to be out on when we play Burnley. I've got the dates in front of me somewhere, but that's the plan. And I've asked people to write articles in, special articles, and hopefully it will be success. But we'll only reach 300 once. That's a fact. So it's whether we get to 400, I don't know.
I'm going to shoot some video of you selling the fanzine. I want to get that iconic phrase, Red All Over the Land, Liverpool fanzine, just for posterity. But we'll get it to promote the 300th edition of the fanzine. With the club, there is a big anniversary coming up this year as well, isn't there, John? For the fans.
This is where Jay could possibly get involved in this. When we play Tottenham on 4th of May. Well, we won't play Tottenham on the 4th of May, but there or thereabouts because of the televisional switch games.
Skyjacked.
Yeah. And if we're in the UEFA Cup semi-finals, it'll be on a Sunday anyway. It will be 30 years since the Cop's last stand. And that was such a memorable day for all who attended. It was no other club could have come close to it. Other grounds were closing, other stands were closing. The Stretford end that went with a whimper.
The Holt end at Villa.
The Holt end at Villa went with a flag there of their own, and they had to give them the flags. We took our own. In fact, I don't think you were allowed in if you hadn't got a flag. It was incredible, and the thing is, that day was staged by the fans. John Mackin, my good friend John Mackin, he organised that. It wasn't the club. In fact, the club wouldn't have promoted what we were promoting that day, which was you can stick the seats up your backside. And that was it. In fact, that was sung at the game. And John produced leaflets that I've now got here to reproduce in some fashion of the Cop's last stand. And what we want to do is celebrate it. Because it's also the anniversary of a lot of other dates in Liverpool's glorious history. And if you look at the Kop and think the Kop was well known in the local community long before the 1960s, and going back to 1906 when it was originally built, obviously. But the Kop as an institution probably started in 1964, 60 years ago. And it was 60 years ago when that famous Panorama programme was broadcast, celebrating the Kop. I'm sure everybody's seen it. It was also Bill Shankly's first major trophy. Forget the second division. This was his first major trophy. 74, 10 years later, it was Shankly's last major trophy, unless you count the Charity Shield, which they also won that summer, when he led the team out at Wembley for the final time. And there was the Keegan Bremner fight. Yeah. If you move on to 84, it was talk about quadruples, but this was Joe Fagan's, what I call the forgotten treble. Joe Fagan's first season as manager won a treble. Nobody has ever done anything like that. And okay, it was the league title, the FA Cup, the League Cup, or Milk Cup as it was then, I believe, and then going into Rome's back garden and beating them on penalties in the final. So, you know, we've got to remember things like that. And 1994, the last day of the Kop.
So there's something about leap years, John, as well. This is a leap year too.
You bring that into the equation, Graham. So, yeah, so there's got to be 29 days in February for us to have one of these occasions. But we're going to try and celebrate it. So maybe I can speak with you, Jay. I said, let's come up with a design that celebrates the Kop's last stand. We're calling it a tribute to the bastion of invincibility, not the team, the Kop.
Yeah, and where did you get that phrase from, John?
Well, actually, Kevin Sampson came up with the idea.
Kevin Sampson wrote the screenplay for the show Anne, which was a really emotional, the latest Hillsborough program, and
he's also written several other plays and books and things like that. So yeah, Kevin I said, can you come up with a title, and just picked up my pad and wrote it down. So tribute to the Kop, the bastion of invincibility.
Yeah. So what is it? What is the tribute to the Kop bastion to invincibility? What shape will that take then, John?
Well, we want to get the plan at the moment. It's still a relatively blank piece of paper, but the idea is to get maybe a few former players who actually stood on the Kop back in their time when they were fans.
So they went from the Kop to the pitch,
more or less, yeah. And I'm thinking in terms of people like Phil Thompson, obviously, Ian Callaghan,
Jimmy Case.
Yeah, Jimmy Case, Sammy Lee, people like that who have done that, and there's others. So they're the people we try and get together for one last time.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that'll be amazing if that comes off.
And it would be. We've asked the club. Waiting for feedback. I was going to meet with them, but that meeting tomorrow's cancelled. But I'm going to meet with the club over the next fortnight, and the idea will be to go back on the Kop with. Well, it won't be as many flags as we had last time because there's not enough room. You'd have to take 3 in each. But yeah, it's to create that scene when basically everyone had a flag. However, they won't be plastic flags.
Right.
They won't be out of Chelsea, out of Newcastle, or anybody else like that, or Everton even. It will be a real flag.
Right.
It's got to be.
And there'll be proper fans flags. They won't be. No half and half scarves, obviously.
No.
Yeah. So, and if anyone's thinking like, this event that John's planning, if you're watching this for the first time, whether John's just talking pie in the sky, we had an incredible night at Hotel Anfield with the Kevin Keegan night. We had a Phil Thompson night. We've done a John Aldridge and a Steve McMahon night. So this will just be another extension of these live Red All Over the Land events that we've been having, won't they, John?
That's the idea, yeah. So are you interested, Jay?
Yeah, 100%. Anything you need, give us a shout and we'll put some ideas together. I think there's many brilliant images that we can sort of work off anyway. So,
well, there's quite a few of the last day of the COP floating around. There's one where it was a panoramic view of the crowd. Not my favourite because I prefer the natural ones. But yeah, there's some good ones floating around. But yeah, tribute to the Bastion of Invincibility. I'm struggling to say that.
Brilliant.
That's the plan.
All right. Well, tonight I finally worked out how to put actual comments on the screen. We haven't done that before. This is WizKid. He says, "Evening, gents." Here's Becca Music, who has been in touch, is watching live. It just says, "Hey all." Becca's actually got on again here. Becca has said, "Getting the Golden Wonka ticket seems easier than getting a match ticket." Yeah, maybe that's what they should do. They should just put it in chocolate bars, or I don't know. There's got to be a better system. But anyway, this is Mark Dean. "System is always flawed. My friend in Germany often logs on way after me and still gets a better ballot number." Okay, all right. So Becca's been back. My dad had a membership last year and didn't get any tickets. Mark Dean says, "Got Chelsea and Wolves. Very low numbers for Spurs and Man City." All right, okay. So Becca Music says, "Have you interviewed any of the local musicians like Kia or the Ragamuffins on the channel?" Yes, we did. We had Dave from the Ragamuffins, didn't we? He was great, wasn't he, John?
David Jaggs, yeah, and we'll have him again.
I forget which episode that was. Let me see if I can work out, because all the episodes are still on YouTube, because we've only just started doing X and doing I can't get to it right now. That was
we had Dave from the Ragamuffins and George Sefton.
Yeah, the voice.
I'm
of
not
Anfield,
sure who Keir is, so unless Jay knows.
Yeah, do you know Keir, Jay?
Yeah, he's like the replacement Jamie Webster, I think. He started doing all the Liverpool songs for like Boss Night.
What's his surname?
Couldn't tell you.
No, it's not Keir, not Molyneux, is it? No.
I don't think so, no.
No, because somebody mentioned something to me last week.
Well, if someone can get a message to Keir, we can follow it up, can't we, John? Because we've had Dave Jaggs was brilliant. Yeah. All right. Well, that's been a nice chat, everyone. We've got through quite a lot. We've even used the quadruple word. Let's hope we haven't jinxed it. Jay, thanks for being a guest on this episode of Red All Over YouTube. It's been great to have you on. The website for Scouse Republic is scouserepublic.com.
That's right.
And you also mentioned a podcast you're involved with. Do you want to give that a plug as well?
Yeah, just me and my mate. He's the main man on it. I just turn up and talk like this, really. It's the Liverpool Groove.
Liverpool Groove. Okay.
Yeah, you'll find that on most podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify. We're on YouTube. I think as Instagram and Twitter is like LFC Groove.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Again, we've had a few interviews with ex-players and people like Jamie Webster, and we've had Peter Hooton on, Neil Ruddock, Greg Bino, players like that. Always have a good chat. It's a hobby, nothing more, nothing less. We get on and we have a chat about the match like we're in the pub. It's very, very sweary, so no one 18s. But that's what we do. We get on like we're having a conversation in the pub, and we just talk Liverpool and what's gone on. A lot of it's slating referees and officials and what's gone on in each game, and yeah, it's going well.
Great. All right. Well, the current fanzine is out, John.
My ambition would be to get a referee on here.
Oh. You know what?
Oh.
Yeah, I'd love to. We interact with one, like Ref Support UK or whatever it is, who just sees nothing but the referee's view in everything. Referee could miss the biggest thing, and they'll blame the fans or the players. It's pathetic. Yeah. So if you can do that, And that's what I think that's the next step they need to do in football is interview the referees. After
Yeah.
put the referee standing alongside Jürgen Klopp at the end of the match and say, why did you make that decision? Face him and tell him. And have the
Well,
balls to do.
I've got a friend who Graham's met, who used to be a Premier League referee back in. He retired around 2001, 2002, and I asked him to come on. He's a friend. I've known him 50 years, and he said I'd love to, but because I'm still involved in the game, I'm not allowed to come and speak about it.
It's crazy.
Well, why is there no accountability for it? I mean, they're there and they're supposed to be, now with VAR, they're supposed to be infallible, but they won't, if a manager criticises them, the manager gets fined. Well, hang on, you should be allowed to criticise, you can criticise players.
It's, mind you, in my football days, I got fined for criticising referees, so,
But you shouldn't be, though. The referee should... You should be able to ask a question of a referee about a decision you didn't agree with, and the referee should either stand his ground or go, I got that one wrong. Why is that so hard? Anyway.
But if Becca Music wants to get in touch with us, we can. I'd like to hear from whoever Becca Music is.
Yeah. And you never know, you might get someone who writes an article in Red All Over the Land.
That's all we want.
All right. Well, the current issue is out. It's number 298. As you can
299.
See, this is 299 is the next one, and this is 298's the one on sale right now, John. This is 298.
No, this is the new one. So this is 299.
Oh, I've got a picture there on the screen of 299.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, this is 298. This is 298 here, isn't it? Hang on, I have to move that. This is 29. That's 298. Right. Yeah. So is the one that's on sale?
To confuse you.
Okay. Okay. So what's the one that's on sale now? Is that 299 or 298? Right.
298 sold out.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm way behind. This is the current issue of Red All Over the Land, the one with the Prime Minister on it.
Delivered from the printers this morning.
Right, and that will be on sale tomorrow night at Fulham?
Yeah, Steve will be down there outside the away end, hoping the Thames don't overflow, and hopefully it can sell a few.
Okay, so that's...
But definitely against Norwich, we'll be there and we'll be recording the occasion.
Yes, because we want to make a little promo for Red All Over the Land. It's the longest lasting and the only surviving Liverpool fanzine, 28 years, 300th issue, dangerously close. You can subscribe and get it in the post. It's great having it just come in the post, especially if you can't get tickets to the match. redallovertheland.com is where you have to go. And all the links are on there for all our videos, all our previous shows. This is show number 25 that we've done as a video. This is the first time it's been on Facebook. We're also on X. And all the back catalogue of shows is there on YouTube for you. So if you want to check them out. Jay, thank you so much and all the best and continued success with Scouse Republic.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And John Pearman, thanks for 28 years of service. Fantastic.
That's all right. I've not aged much, have I?
All right. So to you two and to everybody who's watched tonight,